What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 95 of the Tastecast, weekly podcast where we talk about things, react to things, do a bunch of random shit. My name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
And I'm Chris.
And Chris is here.
No, I'm not.
We're all here. It feels like it's been a while. I feel like I've been gone for so long. With that, make sure to play Sonic Mania and Borderlands Handsome Collection. It's not Handsome Jack Collection, it's Handsome Collection. Make sure to download those and play those and come back at the end of this month for Plus Club. Let us know what you thought of those games, and we'll let you know what we thought of them. And our game of the month is Path of Exile. Chris picked that. And I think an expansion just came out for it, which is very convenient. Every time we have a game, there's something special comes out for it. So we're just on our shit. We have Discord link down below. Talk to us anytime, all the time. And we are on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast platforms if you prefer to listen to us with your ears on the side of your head or wherever you may have ears. I don't judge. I don't give a shit. You live in Chernobyl. I'm from Pripyat. Yeah, so as you guys know, because we've been doing a lot of E3 coverage, I think it's the most E3 coverage we've ever done on the channel. It's been a blast, but it's been very busy. Showed a bunch of streams. I did a bunch of fucking shit at E3 on the floor. And finally, we're going to close it out with how we normally do every year. We are going to talk about pretty much our takeaways of E3. We're going to go through the conferences, talk about what we liked, what we didn't like, and grade them. And then at the end, we'll name our game and conference of E3 and our greater disappointments. We're going to try and wrap that all into one episode. You might also notice that this is Tuesday, and this isn't Tasty Tuesday. You guys understand. Also, all the news is fucking... Or there's no news that's going to come out for like another week or two. So
I'll say it's all E3.
yeah. So we're going to finish it out right. Yeah. So jumping into it, we're just going to fucking get into this. Everybody's favorite conference, I'm sure, and the one that's definitely going to win E3 was EA Play, which was one of the earlier conferences to kind of remind everybody what EA showed off in their like fucking 8-hour conference. They had Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. We finally got a taste of what that is going to be like. They talked about Apex Legends Season 2 coming out. They talked about Battlefield 5 existing. FIFA 20, Madden 20. Holy shit, it's weird to say that. And then Sims 4 is getting an expansion that has, I think, Samoans, they said that, and mermaids. You'll be able to be a mermaid. That's the expansion. It's the Samoan Mermaid expansion. I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for that. Yeah, so who wants to jump in first? What was your impressions of this? First off, did we watch all of these? I'm pretty sure you did. You sat through the streams. You did the streams.
I did the streams.
I caught up like yesterday. So I think we're all up to date on this. So well, let's start with you, Chevy. What was your impressions of EA's conference? And did anything stand out to you?
So when I first sat down to do this, this was obviously the beginning of E3 and kind of set the
beginning of the end.
My pace for what I was getting myself into over the weekend and into the beginning of the week. And I saw that it was 3 hours long, and I was like, "Holy crap! I'm gonna be sitting in this chair a lot." Fortunately,
I live here now.
The rest of the conferences were an hour to an hour and a half, and in Devolver's case, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But so I was like, okay, well, 3 hours, maybe they have, a lot to talk about. And, EA's kind of in a weird spot right now. They could really kind of use some good PR. And I was, waiting to see what they had. Well, Seth named them all. And the only thing in there that was really kind of like new and exciting was Star Wars. The rest of it was all existing properties already. And every once in a while during their intermissions between things, they would kind of like quickly talk about some other game they already have that's still out as well. So just kind of to be not so aggressive towards it, I suppose. I think it's a little silly that in 3 hours they only had 6 things and only one new game. So it was very disappointing in that regard. And my other problem with that is Star Wars, the one thing they should have kept like exclusive to their conference, they shared with Microsoft's conference.
Yeah.
So we got to see it again. So I didn't have to watch that. So it was kind of 3 hours completely wasted.
Should email EA and let them know. Fucking, I didn't need to watch this. I want my time back.
And they didn't show FIFA. They just talked about it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it. They talked about their street soccer mode for like 30 minutes. So
It's pretty dope. Feel like street soccer.
Sure.
The promise of it.
But
Pulling a Bethesda and telling you there's games coming.
did you want to maybe show us?
No.
Crazy thought.
No.
Don't need that.
The box art will be black. It'll just say FIFA on it. Nothing in it. No commercials. It'll just be out one day. It's out now.
It'll be a
Surprise.
FIFA. You'll play a FIFA. That's what it is.
Those are my general impressions. You guys go ahead.
I'm gonna make it short and sweet. Okay, so I had low expectations for this, and I had excitement for Star Wars, and pretty much my expectations were met. Star Wars looks cool in my opinion. Everybody thinks it looks a little janky in the combat. I agree, but don't care too much. If they fix that, cool. If they don't, whatever. But I'm excited for it. But also, it's not even in, like my top 10 games of E3. So their most exciting game was, I'm excited for it. I'll definitely pick it up, but that's their most exciting thing. And there's so many games this E3 that was like fucking like huge events. Other than that, everything they talked about are like pre-existing games. I forgot that The Sims 4 existed. Apex Legends. I did like hearing about where they're going with it. Sounds exciting, but I mean, like, that's not E3 shit to me. And so low expectations for EA. I think they met that low expectation, maybe even a little lower. It was pretty fucking boring. And Star Wars wasn't enough to save it. And it was a very, very long conference, which I think is poorly executed. If you can't get... Okay, so Xbox's conference was smaller than this, or shorter than this, and had fucking like 6 times the games.
Easily.
Yeah. And they presented them better.
Yeah.
So, holy shit, EA. You dropped the fucking ball in this one. Really bad. I don't gotta tell anybody this, but fuck EA. So, and this just made that even more concreted for me. Chris.
I had no expectations for this at all. I'm so done with EA. Mostly because they don't make a lot of games that I enjoy. It's mostly a lot of competitive sports games, shooter games, which is not my genre. So I just kind of write them off for the most part. But I am a big Star Wars fan.
Single player's dead.
Yeah. Say that to last year.
And the year before. And next year.
Or to Sony in general.
Yeah.
Sony definitely agrees.
Yeah. And I was kind of just meh about the Star Wars thing. Like, it seemed like gameplay wise wasn't anything new. It was all stuff they've already done for Star Wars games in the past. I mean, I don't know how much you can really do with Star Wars gameplay, but something innovative, something unique or different. But no, you're just throwing lightsabers around like Luke Skywalker did in all the other games. And
I'm such a dork, that's enough for me, but I won't argue against your point. I mean, like, when people are like, I didn't like this about it, I'm like, yeah, I get it. I like it. And they're like, yeah, but this looks kind of meh. I'm like, yeah, I don't disagree. I like it. I see a guy swing a fucking lightsaber. I'm like, yeah, I mean, some of that looks janky, I guess. I'll play it.
I just wasn't impressed overall. And the length of it was just mind-numbing.
Insane. How the fuck did they make it that long?
If you don't have enough to show, just man up to it and just show what you got. Don't drag it on.
Look at these timestamps, dude. And fucking from 4 minutes and 30 seconds to 36 minutes, they showed off Star Wars and Apex Legends. And then in the next, like, 2 hours, they covered FIFA, Madden, Sims 4.
They spent half an hour on every product. So.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. But still, just fucking... Ugh. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to say on that?
No.
Give a grade.
C-.
C-. It's fair.
Because I know there's people out there who enjoyed these, like Apex and Madden and stuff like that, so I'm sure they were excited to see all those stuff, but it went on too long for me, and there wasn't much to offer for me, personally.
Fair. I'm going to straight up give this a fucking D-. I think it was a really bad conference. I don't think it was interesting. I don't think it was fun. I think the games that they showed off that I am interested in, I'm interested in the game itself. The way they put it out there and showed it off was not exciting. There's nothing about this conference that was interesting. I think they mismanaged the time really bad. I think the whole thing was a big mistake. It didn't do shit for me. And it's sad that all they had to show was this and the most exciting game. I don't even think they showed off as well as they could have. I think Xbox showed off just fine, and that's the one thing they had. So this was really a waste of time, and it's really fucking long. I really feel like I wasted a lot of my time watching it. So I'm giving it a D-. I'm not
getting experience.
Yeah.
Just a waste of time.
It was a big waste of time, and this is not, my grade is not dictated by the game shown. It's the conference itself. It was awful. It was really fucking bad. In fact, I can't think of. I mean, Bethesda's last year was pretty bad too, but we're not talking about that.
Yeah. So I was thinking D- a lot throughout the day about this too, because it just was so bad. And then it kind of came down to the one thing that I did like about it. Microsoft also showed. So not only did I lose 3 hours I'll never get back from this, they didn't even have like anything exclusive to show me. So I actually think it's a complete failure of a conference. So I have to give it an F.
He's going hard.
I mean, it's awful. I can't think of
we don't get much F's here.
I can't think of a worse conference than E3.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Fair. I thought I was going harsh to the D minus. I get it though.
Okay, so to bring up Bethesda last year, right? I didn't care for a lot of it, but there's still stuff announced, right? Which is the whole one. They announced Elder Scrolls 6 and the space game they're working on. And I know you're gonna crucify me for not knowing the name of that, but
Starfield.
Sure.
Garfield.
So, but here's the point. They announced new games coming out, regardless of how weird and awkward the whole conference was, right? EA couldn't do that this year. So
it was, yeah, why were you even fucking there, dude?
They weren't. They have their own thing.
To show off Star Wars.
It's an awful way to start E3, let me tell you.
Yeah. Yeah, it was bad. All right, so C minus, D minus, and an F. Let us know in the comments. What did you think about EA Play? What was your favorite part of it? What was your worst or least favorite part of it? What was your guys' favorite part of the whole thing, if you could? I'd say Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
It's the only thing they had.
Yeah. That's all they had.
Okay. Yeah. And I'm not going to ask you what you're disappointed by, because it seems like we're all disappointed by it in general. But yeah, let's know in the comments everything you're thinking about when it comes to EA Play, and what would you grade it? And yeah, what was the worst conference you've seen from E3? We've already said ours. Next one that we saw was, I don't think these are in chronological order, but we're just going through them, right? Or are these actually in order?
I don't know if they're in order.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. I didn't want to put that out there if we're not doing that. Okay, so the other one we're going to do next is the Bethesda E3 2019 conference. In this, going quickly, they showed off Elder Scrolls Blades, Fallout 76, and to just throw out there as well, they showed off whatever the fuck the Battle Royale mode is.
I don't remember the name.
Ring of Fire or something like that.
Ring of Fire something, yeah. They showed off Ghostwire Tokyo, Elder Scrolls Online, and with that they showed off Elsewhere expansion, Commander Keen, which is a big fucking waste of my time, and Elder Scrolls Legends, Rage 2, Wolfenstein Youngblood, Deathloop, Orion, and Doom Eternal. I'll jump into this one first with my impressions. I think this was a pretty boring conference in my opinion, but I do think it's better than last year's conference. I thought the tone was really interesting because last year I was all about, because id was pretty much leading the whole thing, being like crazy and rebellious. Rage 2's coming out. We got Andrew WK playing music and everybody's dropping F-bombs, and they did that again this year, which I think is really dorky. We're going to kill some fucking Nazis. And was like, hey. I'm like, dude, come on. I just shut up.
I too was 12 once.
Yeah, exactly. Who are you pandering to, man? I'm fucking 32. But there was some cool stuff here. So I think this was a better conference than last year. So I have to give it points for that. Namely, Ghostwire Tokyo was a really cool reveal. If you don't know, that's Tango Gameworks' new game. The guys who made The Evil Within 1 and 2, which I fucking love that series. It's their new game. So that was a really cool announcement, although I felt kind of bad. What was it, Shinji Mikami, when he came out? I was like, oh, it's Shinji Mikami. And everybody's just like, and he's like, huh. And someone's like, I was like, oh, man. No one knows this. He's not Kojima. But yeah, you know, Doom Eternal, Wolfenstein Youngblood, Deathloop looked kind of interesting. They didn't really show gameplay, but they showed like a concept of kind of Groundhog's Day. Commander Keen was fucking stupid. I'm extra angry about that game because when I was at E3, they had shit for that everywhere. And I was like, oh, what's that? What's that? What's that? There's all this shit for this. And then I watched it. I'm like, that's what you're fucking spending money on? Advertising? But yeah, you know, that they didn't do anything with Elder Scrolls 6, that they didn't do anything with fucking Garfield Adventures in Space. You know, I get it, but at the same time, big disappointment, big missed opportunity. So overall, an improvement on last year, especially their kind of half-assed apology of going, hey, your feedback's been very important to us. We're gamers like you. Like, fuck you, assholes. But But yeah, it was better than last year, and it had some cool stuff. Like I said, Ghostwire Tokyo ups it for me, a couple points. So, Chris, impressions.
I was actually really excited about the Japanese Ghostbusters game. That's the biggest takeaway I had from this whole thing. And it wasn't a bad comp. It was kind of mediocre all around. There was highs and lows to it. It kind of warbled for me.
Japanese Ghostbusters.
Yeah, the Japanese Ghostbusters.
Hey, I know that. Japanese Ghostbusters.
But that's the most memorable thing about it for me, really. There wasn't too much crazy, not a lot of hype for some things. Some things were like, oh, that's kind of cool, but it was just kind of meh all around for me on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel it. Anything else?
Not really.
Shit,
I mean,
good
that's
point.
just kind of bland for me overall on that one.
Yeah. Chevy.
So, right off the bat, I got a little worried because they started with mobile game.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, come on. This is
They had a whole booth for that
this
shit.
is not why I watched this, right? And I get it. You're trying to sell to everybody. And mobile is a very profitable area. But the people watching E3 are not those people. So I was a little bummed to see that. And then we went into Fallout 76, which is not even remotely for me. And then the Ghostwire happened. And at first, I was kind of like, okay, now what do they got? Because like EA happened, the beginning of this happened. I was like, dude, I'm so just this E3 so far is not very good. And then I started watching Ghostwire. I was like, oh, I kind of interested in this. And I'm like watching it more. I was like, okay, cool. You had something. You got me a little interested. Thank you. So they keep going. They show Elder Scrolls Online, which I don't have like a bad or good opinion about. In fact, I'm really glad it's still doing well. Commander Keen, mobile again. Ugh. Legends, card game, don't care. And then we got to the id stuff, and I started getting excited finally. So Rage 2, they were basically talking about it and then the future of it, which is great to see that they're already so ready to support that game and add content to it. Wolfenstein Youngblood just looks fun every time I see it. It's something I'm definitely interested in picking up, especially because of the co-op, and I was glad to see more of that. Deathloop was interesting. Orion, though not surprising, I was just like, okay, here we go. Just
I don't remember what that is.
That is
Same.
their service that you can pay for
yeah.
stream games. So this is a theme this E3 of people announcing their versions of this kind of stuff, and it's Netflix, Hulu, all over again. But everyone's gonna have their own version. So, and then Doom Eternal, which looks absolutely amazing. So it was a half and half show for me, but it was enjoyable to watch, and it was only about an hour.
with more games.
So yeah,
More
Yeah.
games that looked polished.
Yeah, especially on the id side
especially
of
on
things.
the id side.
What would you grade it?
Me? I'd give it a C minus. It was passable. Like I said, it's kind of half and half. The reason I'm giving it a minus instead of just a flat C though is there was way too much mobile in there for me, and that is not the point of E3 for me. And in fact, it's irritating every time I see a mobile game get announced on that kind of stage. So,
Dude, when I was on the floor and I saw like Geico Gaming, Facebook Gaming, some like mobile gaming shit, I was like, I'm out of here. I'm not interested in this at all.
yeah.
So C minus.
Yeah.
I'm gonna echo that with another C minus. Better than last year. I don't know what I graded last year, but hopefully it's not higher than C minus. Just to be safe, I'm gonna go C. I'm gonna give it a C across the board. It's passable. There's some good stuff there, some shit stuff there. Ghostwire was a genuine surprise that I am stoked about because I really like Evil Within 1 and 2. Anything that they make after that, they got me sold, and the premise looked really neat. Yeah, so I mean, mostly good stuff and some weak stuff, but we talked less about Skyrim this year, which was nice, if not at all, which is great. And we kind of got away from a lot of the mistakes Bethesda's made, and we were just talking about games again, which was nice. So overall, it was fine.
I'm gonna give it a C plus only because I got really hyped watching Japanese Ghostbusters. Like it was a really nice surprise out of nowhere because now day and age things get leaked really early, and I didn't hear anything about this. I had
True.
no idea it was showing up, and it's nice to have that kind of like, oh, what's this? Oh, that looks really cool. Oh, I want to play that now. And just the hype around that alone just bumps it up. Like normally it would probably be a C as well, but just the hype from that surprise was really nice. So C plus.
Definitely, and the leak thing's interesting. You mentioned that because like about 3 days before E3, leaks just start going, just rolling out. I was like, God damn it! It's like some guy was just trying to shut the fucking closet with all the games, and like someone's like, "What's that?" He fucking let go of it, and a bunch of games fell. He's like, "Oh shit, what is all this?" And he's like, "Don't look at that." And he's like, "I'm tweeting it." So C minus, C, and C plus. So pretty much across the board, a C average. Let us know in the comments. What did you think about Bethesda's conference? What would you grade it? What was your game of Bethesda's conference? Ghostwire?
Ghostwire.
Me too. Captain Commander Keen?
I think
Commander
Doom.
Doom?
Yeah.
Get Uranus to Mars.
I mean, even as someone who's not like necessarily playing a lot of Doom,
Yeah.
I just it's such a blast to like look at.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah, it looks awesome. Yeah, if it wasn't for Ghostwire Tokyo, it would be Doom for sure for me as well. So, yeah, let us know in the comments though. What was your game of Bethesda's conference? The best game that you saw, ones that you're most hyped for, and give us a grade. Next one, I don't want to talk about that one yet, so we'll move over to Devolver Digital's continuation of the story that they're building over 3 years now, where they happen to show some games as well. If you had a chance to watch that, it was only like 30 minutes long. They showed off more games than EA in 30 minutes, and they also told a story that's building into something. So yeah, they showed off Fall Guys, which is like a battle royal game show type thing where you're running around obstacles and shit. Devolver Bootleg,
which is available now for $5 on Steam.
yeah. Which is really interesting looking. Carrion, which is like fucking. I'm not gonna explain every single one of them. You guys just go watch it. But Enter the Gungeon, House of the Gun-Dead, which is really interesting. That they're making like a full-on arcade shooter.
Yeah.
That you buy the whole fucking thing for like $5,000. It's crazy.
Jesus.
The Messenger, Picnic Panic, which is a free DLC, and my neighbor, you have Pedoro.
Oh wow,
Pedro.
You could thank Google for that one.
Pedoro. Sounds like a luchador. Yeah, so they had those games, and then they also had their typical building of story.
The Adventures of Nina.
I don't think I watched this one.
Uh-oh.
Oh really?
I kind of wrote it off as like, because every time they've done nothing like showcase-wise other than a fun show, I was like, yeah, I'll watch it later.
That's what I did, and then I was at work today. I was like, fuck, I never watched it, so I watched it at work.
Fuck.
Yeah. It's cool. If you feel like it, you can guess and give it a fake grade, and people watching can just
Triple S.
understand that he didn't see it.
Triple S.
It's the best thing he ever saw.
My brain is melted for me.
So, is there anything you want to say on it before
The
we
only
get
one I
into it?
actually knew of is the Enter the Gungeon one, and it's supposed to be an arcade shooter, like side scrolling thing. So that's something I heard about.
Yeah, it's like House of the Dead.
And I've played a lot of Enter the Gungeon, so it's kind of hypey for that. I don't want to pay $5,000 for one, but
I was thinking if there's a way for me to finance that, but then at the same time, I was like, I don't need it.
yeah.
I don't want to spend. I mean, it'd be cool to have, but I don't have fucking room for that shit.
No.
So.
Yeah.
It'd be fucking dope to have, though. Hopefully, they release that as like a game you can download and play with analogs or light guns. I don't know what the fuck you do nowadays, but
With your phone.
VR game or something. Like, hopefully, there's another way to play that. But yeah, that is really neat. Yeah, so I'll jump into my impressions real quick since this should be fast. I love what Devolver does with their presentations. It's the third year now that they've been doing this like story that they're building, and I love that aspect of it. It kind of reflects their whole philosophy on making games being ridiculous and violent and just like entertaining. They're doing the same thing with the presentations. They are very tongue-in-cheek and direct about talking shit about some of the practices in the gaming industry. I like one part where she talks about how their company's gonna make these stupid little dumb consoles for dumb people and shit, and sell them to people at like a high price and shit. And even though I'm one of those dumb people buying those dumb little consoles, I thought that shit's funny.
Also, the whole thing was fashioned like Nintendo Direct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It had like this goofy music and shit, and yeah, it was neat. I really like that part. In fact, for that part alone, I'll be grading it higher than the last fucking people. And the games they showed, honestly, you know, My Neighbor Pedro, I feel like a game should have came out like 3 years ago. I've been seeing it for a long time. I really want to play it. Enter the Gungeon, House of the Gun-Dead. If one of you guys pick it up, invite me over, let me try it. But, you know, I don't know if I'm ever going to get to play that. That's going to be this generation's Steel Battalion, where the fuck that game is called.
Yep.
And Carrion, I think, was like my most anticipated game of all these. It was really cool looking. You're playing like as an alien that's growing and killing people, and it's kind of a cool reversal of these type of games. Typically, you're the person surviving that. And Fall Guys looks awesome. Everything they showed looked awesome, except for like, and I hear the Messenger's great. I got no affinity for it, so I haven't played it. I'm sure it's awesome, but that's the only one in this that didn't do anything for me. So overall, though, awesome.
Do you want to grade it, or are we going to do? Oh, we did that. Never mind. Sorry, jumping ahead. Actually, I'm pretty much going to echo everything you said. I think out of all they're all neat looking. Devolver has a really nice flair to all their games that they publish and make, and out of the 6, I think Fall Guys and Carrion look actually pretty cool. Fall Guys, I wasn't even I first saw it, I was like, what is this overly colorful, ridiculous game? And then like the concept started like being shown as it goes through the video, and I was like, I actually want to play that.
Yeah, me too.
So it looks fun, and it's competitive, sure, but in like a really goofy sort of way,
like Gang Beasts.
Yeah, so I'm interested in that. And then Carrion, like you said, survival game, except for you are the monster. So very cool concept.
And as the trailer went on, like the monsters getting bigger and crazier and shit. It had a really cool tone to it. It seemed very much like a Devolver game.
Oh yeah,
I was watching. I was like, yeah,
that's
just
them.
Murdering people.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. You go ahead and grade it.
I agree.
That's your grade.
Yeah, I mean,
A C.
Just give it a fake
middle
grade,
of the road. Exactly
It's
middle.
fair. It's fair. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good. It was right down the middle.
B, because I know their presentations are really good.
It was pretty cool. I'm gonna give it. Fuck. I'll give it a B. Yeah, I'll give it a B. I think the presentation itself was the bigger contributor to it. The games look cool, but that's not necessarily why I'm giving it a B. I'd probably give it about like a C+ to a B- for the games. But I love what they do with their presentations, and I like their sense of humor and their writing. And that chick who plays Nina deserves a fucking award of some kind, because she brings it.
She's amazing.
She brings it every year. Every time I'm watching her, I'm like, that chick has no reservations on acting fucking crazy. So always enjoy watching that. So yeah, definitely B.
I'm gonna go B+ because 30 minutes, 6 games, entertained for 30 minutes straight, and as far as like sequels go, since this is the third in a trilogy now of Devolver conferences, usually you kind of expect them to start tapering off, and they just got more creative with it. So the only reason I can't go higher is because realistically they didn't really show off that much. So, but it was a blast. You should watch it. And if you haven't watched the old ones, I recommend it completely before watching
Cody
this
started
one.
watching this one. I'm like, did you see the other ones? He's like, no. And he's kept watching. I'm like, you should watch the other ones. He's like, oh, okay, I will. I was like... It's like watching the third movie of a trilogy or something.
Yeah, there's definitely a story happening.
Yeah.
So
B+, B. And you also give it a B. Very educated B. Yeah, and real quick, games of that show for me were definitely Carrion and Fall Guys, for sure.
agree.
But everything else was really cool. Let us know in the comments, though, what would you grade Devolver's Nintendo Direct, and
Devolver Direct.
what were your favorite games that they showed off? Next one we're going into will be Ubisoft. They showed off quite a bit of things, those being Watch Dogs Legion, Mythic Quest. Oh, that's that show. Mm-hmm. I was like, what the fuck is Mythic Quest? Rainbow Six Siege, Brawlhalla featuring Adventure Time. I don't remember that at all. I must skip that. Ghost Recon, Breakpoint, Elite Squad, Just Dance 2020, For Honor.
DLC.
I skipped a couple of these things. Rainbow Six Quarantine, which is their like standalone horror game based off that mode that they came out with a while back. Division 2, Uplay Plus, Roller Champions, which is their free-to-play, almost like competing with...
Rocket League,
thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And Gods and Monsters. So no Splinter Cell, which was very disappointing. Yeah, so let's start with Chris again.
Me again? Oh, goodness. Well, they had a lot of good games to show, but the presentation to me felt kind of like the same as last year. It felt kind of just, here's the games. There's no real like crazy showmanship other than like Just Dance. We had all like, the animals dancing out like that and the weird behind the scenes thing that transitioned into the live show. But I wasn't impressed by the show itself. The games, however, there's a few of them on there that are interesting to me. It's interesting to see what they're doing with Watch Dogs, although I'm not super interested in, a game where my characters die permanently. I never like those games. After all that time invested in a character, I don't want them to die permanently. But it is an interesting concept that like literally everybody has a backstory and everybody can be playable and join your squad or whatever. And then, God, there was so much it's hard to think of. The Division 2 and For Honor, DLCs for that. Always down for that. The For Honor one is really cool because it's a time-limited event, from what I understand. You get to fight this crazy Japanese ghost lady. That's always fun and exciting. The scenery for it.
That's always fun.
It's always fun to fight Japanese ghosts. Woo! Give me them yokai. But the rest of it, I was just kind of like... the Brawlhalla thing, I'm a big Adventure Time fan, but it's just a fun little tidbit to throw in there. It's not nothing crazy to go nuts about. Overall, I was just kind of like, okay, this is similar to last year and the year before. Just, you got some interesting games, but your presentation is kind of eh.
Yeah. I'll jump in next. So, two things I want to mention real quick, because I think Ubisoft last year was one of the best conferences of E3, 100%. I thought they did a great job. Also, I am a pretty big fan of Ubisoft. I like most of the games they come out with. I'm always excited for what they announce, and I was really hoping for a Splinter Cell. We didn't get it. Holy shit, we didn't get a Splinter Cell, and everybody was just, including myself, sure we were going to get a Splinter Cell, and they just didn't give it to us. Goddamn. But we did get Watch Dogs Legion, which is, I don't know if I'd trade those two. But that being said, I was overall kind of disappointed with this year's Ubisoft conference. It wasn't bad, and they showed off some really cool games, namely, Gods and Monsters sounds cool. Watch Dogs Legion, I think, is the twist to the series to finally find an identity for that game, because before it was pretty much open world carjacking crime game with hacking, and the hacking was kind of minimal. Now they're turning it into this multi-character perma-loss hacking game that seems pretty ambitious and something that we haven't seen in games yet, so especially on a AAA level. So I welcome them changing it up to perhaps give Watch Dogs some meaning to what the fuck that game is. So, that was definitely cool to hear. But then again, we got some like kind of staying afloat games here. And I know Ubisoft is all about that long fucking trickle of support, which I love about them. But it seems like most of this conference was about that. We got For Honor, Rainbow Six. Even though Quarantine we're getting as a standalone, it's still kind of an extension of Rainbow Six. Division 2, Rainbow Six Siege, I would say like 50% of what they showed off was just telling people you love these games, we're going to keep supporting them, and that's awesome. But when I watch E3, I like the big surprises, the big things that are going to be coming out soon. They did show off Ghost Recon Breakpoint, but I already played that in a fucking technical test, and I still don't know if I'm sure that NDA is over, but still, it's I'll be picking it up. But yeah, as for surprises, man, like it's pretty much Watch Dogs Legion, and it's not even necessarily the game I wanted, but I definitely welcome it. I want to play it. And then we got Roller Champions, which was leaked like 2 days before E3, which I welcome, but it's free to play, so I will try it for sure. Hopefully it's awesome. And Gods and Monsters sounds cool, but that's 3 games. So yeah, Ubisoft was a little soft this year compared to last year, in my opinion.
I agree with pretty much everything you said there. It was a little... The energy also just seemed kind of meh the whole time, except for the Just Dance part, which I'm glad they at least threw something in there to kind of like bring the energy levels up. I was also really kind of disappointed for people on the Splinter Cell thing, and obviously we know the reason, but was disappointed not to see Beyond Good and Evil 2 there.
Yeah. See, if those two were there, Splinter Cell, I'm acting like it exists and they're just not showing it to me. But yeah, if those two were there, this would be a whole different fucking thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, like the big surprises was Watch Dogs Dogs Legion. When they first started showing it, I was like, oh, it's another Watch Dogs game. And I just wasn't excited because the first two haven't grabbed me. So why would I be excited for another one? And then they started showing off the system for us. I was like, you might have me with this one. You might have. I still am a little reserved, but there's interesting things going on there. And I'm intrigued. So, so good job there. And then Gods and Monsters is another one where like I'm kind of intrigued, but at the same time I still need a little more on that. So, but overall,
for sure.
It was just kind of bland, I guess is a good way to put it the whole time. And then the Uplay Plus thing is their streaming service that they're doing, and I just start getting annoyed because they're all going to do it.
Yep.
So.
Oh yeah.
The hypest moment for me out of this whole thing was watching Granny Hacker
Yeah, it was awesome.
at the beginning, and then after that, I was just like, okay, bring back Granny Hacker. I want to see Granny Hacker.
She was awesome.
Just because I keep asking it, I'll echo that. My favorite game of this presentation was definitely Watch Dogs Legion. So
Same.
yeah. So let's grade it. We'll start with you.
I mean, I'll give it a C. Just because it was okay. I didn't hate it, but I wanted more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will give it also a C, just because I feel good giving a C. I almost want to give it a C plus, but like I didn't love it as a conference, so it was fun. I'm glad it wasn't bad. That's the way I'll put it. I'm glad there's nothing bad about it, so I can't complain. I wanted something to fucking get me pumped. And mostly I watched, I'm like, that's cool. That's cool. Oh, I'm glad Ubisoft's doing that. That's cool. That's cool. And then it was over. I'm like, okay, what's next? So hopefully next year they'll bring it. Because like I said, last year I think they did a really good job. So this year is more so like, we're supporting the shit out of everything. And there's a new game.
I think we're seeing this as well, though, because the consoles are coming out soon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure there'll be some huge announcements.
Next year?
Yep.
Yeah.
Things that they can finally reveal.
I just echo what you guys said. It's just it just overall was kind of meh, and like even like this hypey moment that they were trying to build up to, the Just Dance moment, felt very forced and just kind of out of place.
It's amazing Just Dance is still just trucking along. I don't know anybody that plays it, but
I'm sure the profit margin's really high.
yeah. They advertise it every year. It's a big thing, so there must be a lot of people that like I don't hang out with who play it. So
I'm sure it's a great family game, too.
oh, probably.
Oh yeah.
Anything else?
Shout out to Ubisoft for screwing up YouTube streaming for us.
Hey, thanks.
Oh yeah. Thanks for fucking us over. Giving them an F for that. Joking. That's actually like, well, it's a little bit everybody's fault. So, let us know in the comments what you think of Ubisoft's conference. What was your favorite game in that conference? What are you most excited for? What are you most disappointed that they didn't have? Splinter Cell. And even though they never said it was going to be there, we all knew it was. It just seems like it was the best time to do that. And what would you grade Ubisoft's conference? Let us know in the comments below. Next one we will be going through is... This is Microsoft, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. So we'll go through Microsoft. Microsoft showed a shitload of stuff off in less time than EA. So I'm going to go through this real quick. EA just kind of set the standard. They're like, how long should we take? I don't know, like 4 hours? Okay. How many games are going to show off? Like 6? Oh, so we got plenty of time to talk about these games. Great. That's good. That's a good idea. Everybody else is like, okay, we got an hour and a half. Just fucking puke up all the games. And they can just figure it out from there. Okay, so... Microsoft showed off The Outer Worlds, Bleeding Edge, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Minecraft Dungeons, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, a game that EA also showed off, so that was kind of a waste of fucking time, EA. Blair Witch, Cyberpunk 2077, a game that no one's heard about, Spiritfarer, Battletoads, RPG Time, The Legend of Right. I don't remember that.
It was a pen-drawn game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that was actually really interesting looking. ID at Xbox.
That's all indie games.
Oh, yeah. Xbox Game Pass. Microsoft Flight Simulator, which was a fucking big surprise to me. Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition. Wasteland 3 Double Fine being acquired by Microsoft, which was a big surprise to me. Psychonauts 2. Lego Star Wars. This is a great list of games. Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, 12 Minutes, which is like that top-down like cinematic game, Way to the Woods, don't remember what that is, Gears of War 5, Gears of War 5 Escape, Xbox Elite Wireless Controller Series 2 that Maneki Neko told me that there are like adjustable
joysticks,
which is huge.
Yeah,
That's insane to me. Dying Light 2, Forza Horizon 4, Lego Speed Champions, Gears Pop, State of Decay 2, Heartland, Fantasy Star Online 2, which was crazy, Crossfire X, no one gave a fuck, Tales of Arise, holy shit, Borderlands 3, and Borderlands 2 DLC, Elden Ring, xCloud and console streaming, Project Scarlet, Halo Infinite.
That's it.
A lot of shit. A lot of shit doesn't even fit on my fucking
In
screen.
an hour and a half.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. I'm just going to jump into my impressions.
Yeah.
Holy fuck, Xbox brought it. They brought so many games to talk about. They talked about a little bit about their new console. They talked about a new controller that I'm actually really interested in picking up. They named off a shitload of games that I'm really interested in, even though a lot of these aren't exclusive to the console. They still got the rights to talk about it. Tales of Arise is probably one of my surprise most hyped games of E3. When I saw the trailer for that, I was like, holy shit, this looks amazing. When I was at E3, there was a fucking screen that kept playing it, and I was just going like, whoa. It's dope as shit looking. I mean, I was about to start naming off games here that I'm excited about, but I would just be rereading this list to you guys. So, the energy was there. Xbox has this real cool mix of fun community. We love gaming, but also the sophistication to their presentations that I always really dig. Really flashy. I actually stood on that stage and it was really fucking cool. Everything was very shiny. That Lego car is fucking dope as hell. Overall, I think they had an awesome, just like last year, I think they're one of the best conferences. This year, I think they did the same thing. One of the best conferences of E3. They fucking killed it. Them acquiring another company in Double Fine is a huge get, in my opinion, because Double Fine has some hits, has some games that I think have niche crowds following him. But Double Fine's a company that is Double Fine. Nobody's like Double Fine. They're Double Fine. And so Xbox getting exclusive rights to them, making games for them, that's awesome. So, overall, really cool. They're the ones that announced Elden Ring, which was leaked ahead of time, but at the same time, they got to show that. Project Scarlet, hearing about that was really cool. Halo Infinite, very cool, even though I thought the trailer was kind of meh. This was an awesome, and Cyberpunk, of course. Cyberpunk 2077, they're the ones that got to show off the cinematic trailer. And Keanu Reeves, I think, pretty much owns the internet right now.
Dude, he's everywhere.
You're all breathtaking.
Yeah.
Just for that alone, Microsoft definitely is one of the best conferences of E3, easily.
I'm just going to jump in on that if that's all right.
Oh, shout out to Flight Simulator. I'm one of those weird people who's like, that is fucking dope. I'm glad they're actually, that game used to be a thing that came out every, once in a while. And then, they announced it. I'm like, you guys are making that again? About fucking time.
And it's gorgeous.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
So the big thing I want to say here is Microsoft kind of shows off the gold standard of what a conference should be. We can watch videos on YouTube of game release trailers all day long. The whole point of the conference is the show, and they always do it right. So I was very happy last year. I'm very happy again this year. They showed the new console. They showed new hardware, new software systems, new tech systems, new games, and had fun doing it. They had everything you could want there. So I can't think of a weak spot in this conference at all. And the sheer amount of stuff they shoved in an hour and a half was amazing. And I know I was complaining about it all episodes so far about the services, but Xbox Game Pass offers all those games that those other people are doing exclusively, and for the similar price, you also get Xbox Live with the Ultimate version.
And on PC for $15.
So I think other people need to lower their prices because it's kind of crazy to me. And just as a quick standout for me, besides Cyberpunk, because I know we're all going to say Cyberpunk, the Tales game was a big one for me. And, I lost it. Where'd it go? Flight Simulator was a weird one. I'm not necessarily a huge flight sim fan.
Phantasy Star Online too.
That was just more of a surprise.
About fucking time, Sega.
But
Jesus.
yeah, they were showing a flight sim, and I was like, "That's a beautiful game." And then I was like, "Is this flight sim?"
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Microsoft Flight Simulator." I was like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, that was a weird one.
Yeah, no, this was a blast. This was a good show. You should watch this one. So
Definitely.
I mean, yeah, this is probably one of the most packed conferences that they had the entire E3, and it was great because they went through it so well and so fast. But it wasn't like too fast. It was just like such a good pace for the whole conference, and there was like old games being brought up, like Age of Empires 2, which I'm excited for because I'm a big Age of Empires fan.
for sure.
And then there's new games like the Blair Witch one. I had no idea that was the Blair Witch until like near the end of it. It looks amazing for like a Blair Witch game. I was like, oh. In my mind, if you think of Blair Witch game, I'm like, Blair Witch. Oh,
It's gonna be
how
walking
shitty
in
is
the
that
woods
gonna be?
yelling for 3 hours.
But this was genuinely like got me hyped for that game. I don't play scary games either, but that one looked really cool. It was really well done. It's just such a good conference overall. It's like the gold standard.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
So we all liked it.
Yes.
F.
Cyberpunk, of course, was the game of E3, pretty much.
Oh yeah.
But if you could pick something that wasn't Cyberpunk, what was like the most exciting thing for you out of Xbox's conference? And it's really hard because there's so fucking many of them. But honestly, this sounds really weird. But when I first saw Tales of Arise, I was like, "What is that?"
Yeah.
I was really pumped for it. And this is Xbox's conference, and this is me, and I'm like, "Cohen, that JRPG looks amazing."
Bandai Namco's game.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think
And Elden Ring. Elden Ring. We didn't see gameplay, but I got good vibes from that game.
I think I have to agree with you on Tales of Arise. Because that was a genuine treat. Because they did a really good job when they were showing it off. I was like, oh, this looks really nice. And then it showed off that it was a Tales game. I was like, oh, that's completely awesome.
Yeah.
So, just echoing here because I really like the Tales games a lot. So it was really cool to see a new one.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Really great conference, though. I'm going to grade it. I'm going to give it a fucking hard A. I'm giving it a full-on A. You kind of solidified that. I was going to give it an A-, but when you said that, like, this is the gold standard of a conference, there's nothing wrong with it. We're watching E3 for the presentation, the celebration of gaming. Nobody did it better than Xbox.
Yeah.
The only reason I didn't give them A+ is because, like, I really want to reserve that for something that's just like, holy shit. And obviously, Cyberpunk is that, but what I saw as opposed to what they showed, completely different.
Yeah.
So, A, strong A, really good. One of the best conferences of E3, easy. Chris.
See, I was gonna go with an A-, but hearing you talk about it and everybody else talk about it, I think I'll have to go with an A as well. It was just so well done.
Yeah.
With just the right balance of new and old games, and it was just, it was really well done.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's gonna be 3 of them. It really is like
AAA.
It is what
AAA standard.
It is what a conference should be at E3.
Yeah.
I mean that is it, and then everyone else should probably take notes. So
When Phil Spencer said that they were going to go like big,
they went big.
They did. That's a lot of fucking games.
So and it's great to see them in this position. So to be able to do that. So I obviously early in their life we were concerned, but the last few years especially, they've just been killing it on E3 and their announcements and what they have planned for the future, and I'm excited for them. So
Definitely. I was waiting the whole time though when I was watching this. I was like, it's fucking PS4, or not PS4, fucking Sony just sitting back, fucking with their sunglasses with a little switch going, release the PS5. Just fucking opens the kennel and a bunch of PS5s come running out. And people are like, oh my god, new consoles. And they're like, and Last of Us 2 and all sorts of, but that didn't happen. I was waiting for it though. I was like, these motherfuckers are going to sabotage. It's like, get ready. If they say anything big, just fucking release.
Trump card.
Yeah. But I'm sure we'll get something huge from them soon. Yeah, let us know in the comments what you think about the Microsoft conference. What was your favorite game that they showed off? There's a lot of them. Obviously Cyberpunk most likely, but what other games and what kind of grade would you give them for their conference? Let us know in the comments below. Okay, so for the next conference we're going to cover, or we did cover, was Square Enix, which had plenty to show, although they kind of lingered quite a bit on the Avengers towards the end.
Excelsior.
that whole thing. What they covered, in case you didn't watch it, but you should go check it out, is Final Fantasy VII Remake. Of course, they spent a good amount of time covering that. Then they fucking went into Life is Strange 2. And then I skipped the shit out of that. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered Edition, which was actually really pleasant to see. Octopath Traveler coming to PC. Last Remnant Remastered, so they're apparently bringing back a lot of games that maybe didn't get a fair shake. Dragon Quest Builders 2, which comes out soon, I think. Dragon Quest 11 Definitive Edition. I'm flirting with buying that again, even though I ain't got the fucking time to play that again. Square Enix Collective.
That's their indie program.
Yeah. And then Square Enix Music, which I think is them releasing all of their albums on Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
Is that
and Amazon. And,
is it on Amazon?
And
Ooh.
Apple Music and streaming music services.
I listen
to
Amazon Music.
Yeah.
Where's that? Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind DLC, which I think will be their attempt to make that game good. I haven't beaten it, so don't yell at me. I've just heard things from people that I trust and don't trust. Which ones are which? I'll let you guys decide.
Which one does Josh fall under?
I don't know. Yeah, that's a tough one. Do you trust what he says or do you not? Fucking keep that out in the open. Final Fantasy 14 Shadowbringers. They talked about that a bit. Dying Light 2, which actually was in a couple conferences, which was kind of cool to see. Romancing Saga 3 and Saga Scarlet Grace Ambitions, which is Xbox's new Xbox coming out. War of the Visions Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, which is a tactical Brave Exvius game.
Square's good at names.
Mm-hmm. I always jokingly poke fun at Japanese games really kind of getting very lenient with English. And that's fine, but if there's one company that's real bad about it, it's Square Enix. It's like, what are we gonna name it? I don't know. All the names are taken. They just keep adding words to it. Then eventually, they don't. It's not a game.
It won't be copyrighted anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. Outriders, which is a game that I'm really confused about. Oninaki, which I think is being made by the people who made I'm Setsuna.
Tokyo RPG Company.
Yeah, which is really interesting. Final Fantasy 8 Remaster, and then finally Avengers. That's like the Marvel Avengers, supposedly big budget AAA. They spent a lot of money on the voice actors game, and nothing else. So let's jump into impressions. I'm dying to know what Chris thought of this conference and what was shown.
Dying for me. Oh my god, I was dying for this conference the whole time. But the biggest hype was the Final Fantasy VII remake. It's pretty obvious. That's what everybody was.
I played it.
Shh. Watch yourself.
Damn. Watch yourself. That was a threat on my life.
It was great to see more gameplay of it.
Mm-hmm.
And the boss fight, it was just so amazing, and how there's you actually have to dodge the lasers by hiding behind things. And they show the different mechanics for like how the characters all play different according to how they were in the game. So Barrett has a gun and you hold the button down to continuously shoot from it. It makes me really curious to see what they're going to do with some of the other characters though, like Red X, what they're going to do for his attack pattern, because in the old game he just jumped forward, did a quick little spin and landed and then jumped back. So I'm curious just to see what kind of things they do, because Tifa looked like she was going through her almost like her limit break, the slots attacks, somersault kick or dolphin kick and beat rush and things like that. Or even like Yuffie, who just can walk forward, throw a little shuriken, and walk back. Just curious to kind of see what they're going to do with those characters, and how they're going to handle summons. And we saw a little bit about how the magic, materia works, but I want to see a little more deeper if it's only through the ATB gauge or if there's some way to do it without that. And then just, there's a lot of pleasant little surprises in here, a lot of nostalgia, a lot of RPGs, which I'm so excited for, because it's been a little while since we've had a good chunk of RPGs like this. So I was super stoked about it. I kind of wish they I don't know why, but I really wanted them to have a bigger orchestra to play the music. I think that would have been top notch for them, especially since they just had a full orchestra
the day before
playing all the music. So even just a smaller little pit ensemble would have been nice, but I can't fault them too much for that.
Yeah. I'll jump in. So I'm gonna piggyback off what you're saying, kind of about like the presentation, wishing there's a bigger orchestra. This did seem kind of like it was cut and dry, which I kind of like. There wasn't a whole lot of spectacle to it. The worst thing about the whole presentation was that weird Chad Dude Bro guy who came out to talk about Final Fantasy VII. I didn't understand that at all. Like, did they go down to the local fucking bar and just ask a guy if like, we'll buy you a couple shots if you do the presentation? He's like, all right, bro. But outside of that, it was really good. It kind of almost reminded me of what like a digital presentation would be like, or a Nintendo Direct, only live. But I think they did a good job. But what they showed was huge in my opinion. They showed a lot of really good games. Obviously, they showed Final Fantasy VII, which is the thing everybody wants to see. And in my opinion, but also being on the floor, seemed to be the second biggest hyped game of all of E3. So I mean that gives them a lot of clout in the sense that they fucking got to show that off, and they made a big deal about it. They spent time talking about it, and they showed plenty to sink your teeth into. So that was really cool. Life is Strange 2, I don't give a shit about, but I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that do. I was pretty happy about seeing some of these remasters coming out because kind of like what I said before, some of these games came out in a time where JRPGs were kind of on like a downslope a bit, and maybe people weren't playing them as much then, or it didn't last forever to come out on Xbox.
Yeah,
60.
and
Crystal Chronicles came out on
GameCube, yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like these games are like getting reintroduced to people who didn't have access to them, or maybe they're younger, or like you weren't playing much GameCube then, or you didn't have an Xbox, and you're like, I always really wanted to play that, but I'm not going to buy an Xbox for RPGs. Because they made that attempt then. We're in now, so now they are giving you new ways to play them, and I think that's awesome. So normally I'm not like, yay, remasters. I'm always positive on them, but like here I'm like, that's actually really cool that they picked these ones to remaster. And of course, Final Fantasy VIII remaster, I was hoping to see something a little higher in graphics, not necessarily like a remake, but something a little higher. But it's still really neat to see that all cleaned up and giving people a new way to play it.
Well, the biggest thing too with a lot of these remasters, sorry not to
go ahead.
butt in there, but is bringing them to a widescreen format.
Yeah,
because a lot of them came out in 4:3.
Yeah. And then going over like Dragon Quest 11 Definitive Edition, I think that's awesome. It's coming out for Switch. It's gonna have more content, which fucking makes me want to get it. It's so good, guys. If you have a Switch or if you want to play it on PS4, I don't know if it's on Xbox or not. Pick it up. I think Dragon Quest 11 is probably one of my favorite JRPGs of all time. So fucking pick that shit up. And if you got Switch, this is gonna have more stuff to it. Dragon Quest Builders 2. I watched on the floor. I didn't get to play it too much, but it's pretty much what I wanted Dragon Quest Builders to be. So Dragon Quest Builders 2 is looking really cool. It's got that co-op. I think it's more than just 2-player too. I think it's like 4 or some shit, which is fucking awesome. And yeah, I mean, some of the weaker elements of this conference, in my opinion, are Outriders. It's not really doing much for me. I think it's cool that they're kind of taking a risk at making something that you wouldn't expect from Square Enix. And they got people who've worked on like Gears of War and shit working on this, so I kind of feel like we're going to be getting something similar to that. Maybe something tactical. And Avengers, I'm so mixed on because the voice acting is there, the company working on it is there, everything about it is there, but there's just something B-rated about the production, or at least what we've seen of this. I need to see gameplay. I don't want to be one of those people who are like poo-pooing it. I'm just saying it seems off slightly. It's like I ordered something and I got something that looks different. I'm trying to figure out, do I want to eat this, or why does this look so different?
You ordered Mickey Mouse, you got Morky Mouse.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Like, can I get those mouse ears? And they hand me like some fucking cardboard cat ears. I'm like, what is this? Why? Yeah, overall, I think they had a good conference, and I think they had one of the better conferences of E3. One thing I just want to say that does not go into my grade on this, but when I was at E3, I loved how big Square Enix went. Them coming back to E3 between their conference and their presence on the show floor was really cool to see. Not only has Square Enix been coming back with their games hard, they had that slow kind of build up to where they are now, but now I just feel really comfortable in saying Square Enix is fucking killing it again. But they're also showing it, by coming back to E3, having a good conference, showing off really cool shit, getting people really excited, having like the second biggest game of E3, and then also having a big showing on the floor. It's just been really fucking cool. So in that regard, I also have to, I'll be grading it a little higher just because I'm glad to see Square Enix back. So, and the conference shows that 100%. So I thought they had a good conference.
Yeah, and then the other thing I wanted to add to that too was you had also shown me pictures of them having a presence even outside of the convention center.
Oh, all over the place.
Like all the buses and stuff like
Dude,
that.
there's
had
there's
advertisements
buses
and
down around with Shadowbringers all over it. There's a huge fucking mural on the side of the building. It's a giant building. That building's fucking huge. Square Enix was everywhere, man. They owned the main hall. You went in there, and there was like Final Fantasy shit all over the place. There was a giant bike, Cloud's bike, you could sit on and get pictures taken of. There was fucking, and it was really neat looking, full scale. There was like figurines and like fancy ass watches you couldn't buy, which was really annoying. I was like looking at them like, I don't even wear, well, I do wear a watch, but I was like, man, that's fucking nice. A Final Fantasy watch. There's so much Final Fantasy shit there. It was crazy. I was like Square Enix really put some fucking money down for E3, and it was very cool, and it obviously left an impression. Shout out to Gearbox as well. They put a lot of money down for Borderlands 3, so there's some real big spenders at E3, but Square Enix was one of them, and I think it translated to their conference too. There was just a lot of hype with Square Enix, and I think they celebrated that really well.
Yeah. So I mean, speaking of hype, this was definitely my most anticipated conference of E3, mostly just because of how long it's been since they've been there, and obviously they had told us Final Fantasy VII was going to be there, so I think it was just eyes on like Square when they showed up, because like, okay, you haven't done this in a while, you got a big game, let's see how this goes. And they opened up with it and gave us like 20 straight minutes of Final Fantasy VII, and it was great.
It's pretty much like a drug dealer going like, hey, come over to my house, I got some crack for you, and you're all like, oh shit. You can knock on the door, and you're waiting, and then fucking open the door up, and it's exactly what you wanted. It's like, ooh.
It's got on the table waiting.
Yeah, and I gotta say,
spoon ready.
And I'm sure a lot of you, your favorite content creators or websites or whatever, have been kind of saying this anyways. I'm just kind of echoing it. Any concerns I had about the Final Fantasy VII remake are pretty much gone after witnessing it. It looks like they really are doing the modernization of the game without bastardizing the game. So,
and not to be like, oh, I played it, blah blah blah, but just to confirm as well from playing it, I can back that up too. I mean, I have no concerns. It's better than what I thought it was going to be. So it's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, so that is very cool. Now to talk about the rest of the conference real quick. Sorry.
What would you guys rate the Final Fantasy VII conference?
There's a couple things in here obviously I didn't care about, and I'm just going to kind of skip over those. So, but things that were really neat to see, the remasters was something I wasn't expecting any of the titles they mentioned, except for one that Seth spoiled for me.
Which one did I spoil?
Final Fantasy VIII.
I don't remember that.
You sent it to me in Discord, and you're like, whoops, wrong channel. And I was like, thanks.
Oh, yeah.
Crystal Chronicles, I remember playing it back on GameCube, and I thought it was kind of a neat idea, but I didn't know too many people playing it on GameCube, so I was kind of lost on me. It is a multiplayer game, so...
Yeah, because I remember we had it,
yeah,
but it was a multiplayer game, and yeah, we couldn't fully realize the game, so it's almost like better that's coming out now. Yeah, that's such a standard thing you can play with anyone nowadays.
For sure, and I'm really excited to actually give that a shot, especially because a lot of the, I believe that also had the using Game Boy Advances as controllers type thing going on with it too. Yeah. So, with all the gimmicks and stuff gone...
fucking weird with games.
Yeah, we're just going to be able to play the game, and that's exciting. Octopath Traveler, I have on Switch. I need to beat it, but I can say firsthand that it is a very fun game. And if you're thinking about getting it and you don't have a Switch, you have a PC, get it. Last Remnant, I played a little bit on Xbox. It'd be cool to play it again. I'm not in a hurry to get that one, but it's really neat that they even thought to do that title. Dragon Quest Builders 2 is a huge one for me just because I really like Dragon Quest Builders, but I had a hard time continuing playing it because it felt like it needed co-op, and now it has co-op, and I'm thrilled because the game plays and looks great.
It's got a little vampire Vegeta boy.
Yeah, no, he looks awesome.
I love that.
The definitive edition of Dragon Quest XI is great. Like Seth already talked it up. I'm just gonna back him up on that. Square Enix Collective was essentially their indie game and crowdfunding system, which I'm glad they always show that off. There are some big games that came out of that, including towards the bottom here we have Oninaki when they came out with not oh god, what was it? I Am Setsuna. That was part of that program. So, and now they're a company that just makes RPGs for Square.
Yeah,
so,
it's cool to see them moving on to something else.
Yeah. I already knew about the Square Enix music thing, but I'm glad they advertised it to people. You can just listen to Square music now, which is great. I love their soundtracks.
People, I mean, it's a lot of companies, I don't think they'd have the same response, but I mean, Square Enix's soundtracks are beloved, so it makes sense.
Well, and they go on tours and do concerts and shit with their
I would
music.
love to see one.
And really, the other big one for me was Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers.
No.
Because...
No, you never played that.
I knew they were going to be there, but I honestly expected them to show the trailer that we already saw.
Yeah.
And then they showed a full-blown, never-before-seen storyboard trailer that really had like this crazy ending to it that kind of just made the internet go, what the fuck? So, great. Especially this close to the release of it. I'm so excited.
Time for me to catch up.
Yeah. And the Final Fantasy...
only took me like 3 years.
The Final Fantasy VIII Remaster is actually kind of neat for me because it's a game that I didn't give a fair chance, and I will absolutely be picking this up and like at the very least forcing myself to get past the first disc because that's as far as I got in the past. So I want to give the game a fair shot, and I think being older now and more patient is going to make that easier for me too, because I think I was just so used to 7 that 8 was such a hard jump for me. So and I probably was a little unfair towards it.
It's amazing how you can have an expectation of something after you've played something, and even if it is really good, if it's not what you're expecting, it can diminish your initial impression of it. But if you come back to it, like, so for instance, kind of completely off topic, but like I'm a huge M83 fan, been listening to him since a long time ago, and fucking Hurry Up We're Dreaming, I loved it. It was a great album. And then Junk came out, which is an album after that, and I was like, I don't like this sucks. Came back to like 3 years later, I think it's a fucking masterpiece. So in that sense, like, if that makes sense, coming back to Final Fantasy VIII, you might be coming back to it without coming off of 7 fresh like that.
I did that with 12 when they re-released 12. I sat down and beat the whole game. It was great.
At the very least, you can just play a bunch of Triple Triad.
Not gonna do that.
Your game gets no fucking play, dude. 9.
Yeah, I would love to see them re-release that. I'd play the shit out of that again. So
the one thing that I'm really upset about that they do all these re-releases for that they don't re-release, Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah,
I want to play it on PS4.
That one's a little more complicated because
the
people who have part in it are no longer part of the company, I think. So
I like to see Tactics and 6.
Yeah, because 6 is one of those beloved titles, and it'd be great to like.
I want to see 6 get the treatment of fucking like full-on fucking remake.
Yeah, it's
That'd
funny.
Be amazing.
I said the same thing, and only because that is one of the games that people argue is the best Final Fantasy. And
So it should get
and it has a
big fucking remake
It
treatment.
should, and I know pretty much everyone would say Kefka's probably the best villain in Final Fantasy 2, or as well, not 2, but yeah.
Arden's pretty cool.
Arden is pretty
I
cool.
like him quite a bit. He's not as powerful as Sephiroth, but he's pretty cool. I like his story.
Chris has got a sass going.
Some stupid ass clown.
No, bring up some dumbass clown. We're talking about Final Fantasy. You're gonna bring up some stupid ass clown shoes.
I can't judge it. I've never actually played 6.
I haven't either, but
I've played 6.
it is beloved. So
Never got even a third through it, but I played it.
yeah,
I remember that beginning scene where they're walking through the snow. Where the fuck?
it's very cool for Super Nintendo, actually.
Way ahead of time. We're not talking about this anymore. We're not talking about the conference anymore. So where were you at?
That was pretty much done.
Avengers. What do you think about it?
So I'm definitely in the court of like it's their game and their design models. I also even though like I don't really have like a standard for what they should look like. So like people complaining that they don't look like that, I know a lot of those people are because they wanted the MCU people. This isn't that. You have to be okay with that. Now, go ahead.
My only thing is that I wish they resembled the comic book characters. I know there's been
Yes.
many iterations of the comic book characters, but there's still this idea of what Tony Stark looks like.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter which comic book series it is or if it's the MCU, there's a particular style to the dude's face, his mannerisms, all sorts of shit. Thor, it looks pretty much like Thor in most things. In fact, I think Chris Hemsworth looks the most different to Thor that Thor's ever looked, but he still looks the part and he still owns the part. This Thor looks like that dude from fucking Detroit Become Human. Looks like some weird washed up fucking like 40-year-old guy who they dressed up like Thor, and then like Tony Stark just got like fucking long hair and he just looks like a bro, and like Captain America's body's really big but his head's really small, and he looks like they all look like they're like someone you saw was shopping at Walmart at like 2 a.m. and you dressed them up in some like off like B-rated fucking Avengers costumes. It's really weird.
Yeah.
So if they got amazing voice talent for those characters.
Yeah.
For sure.
So
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
like if it's got a good script, you know they're gonna act really well, and you're gonna go, I don't give a fuck how they look because you're just gonna feel the parts anyway. So it's not gonna matter. So we need to see the game more. But at first glance, the graphics aren't that great, and I know there's cinematics, but then also the characters look off.
Yeah.
It's like I said earlier, like you order something that's red and it's like a fucking faded orangish color. And you're like, why? It shouldn't look like that. So I do think some people are being way too ridiculous about it. And the people are like, I want to be the MCU. I don't agree with that. But there's still a goal post area that I feel like you could throw it in somewhere and still nail it. But they're just like, no, fuck that.
Yeah.
And you know what, though? In a time where people do a bunch of stupid shit because people get upset,
They start
them
with their
going,
guns.
we're gonna fucking, this is what the game's gonna look like.
Yeah.
We're gonna own it. So good, own it, and hopefully it's awesome.
Yeah.
And hopefully you make all the people you're trying to get to buy this game, you make them all look like fucking idiots, all your fans, and then you point out, you're like, you guys are fucking stupid, all of you. Buy our game.
Well, don't do that part. But
This is good advice.
I do agree with you that in a time where people complain and people just bend over backwards, it is nice to see them taking a strict stance on their artistic view of what they're doing. And Marvel is involved, so it's not like, they didn't see that. So
You mean Disney?
they were on stage. Well, it's still a division of Disney, but Marvel is still Marvel. So, so I mean, they were there, and they, obviously let that be shown. So, it's so to get past that part though. Really, at the end of the day, because like you said, they do have the huge voice talent, but the gameplay. If the gameplay is great, I honestly don't care that much what the game looks like. To an extent, obviously, I don't want it to look broken and completely janky the whole time, but as long as it is consistent and the gameplay's fun. And the only thing I'm really worried about is they said during the conference multiplayer, and then later after the conference they said the multiplayer is not going to be part of the story though. So I don't know what that means.
And they're going to be adding heroes to it, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
Which heroes? That's what I'm curious about too.
They showed
It's more questions than answers. That's the
Ant-Man,
problem.
whatever the
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah, Hank Pym.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
He was like balding and shit,
yeah,
which is fine. It's just male aging.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, pretty much that's the big thing. More questions than answers.
Excelsior.
They showed us some stuff, and I went, okay, but I still don't know what you're showing me. So,
Yeah.
and that's the biggest issue for me.
yeah.
Just need to wait on Avengers, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think they showed something and it wasn't enough to sell people on, so
And especially with how much time they spent on it in the conference. And I know that's just because I'm sure Marvel was like, we demand X amount of time. So,
yeah. You already said what you thought of the conference, right? You started out. We all talked.
we all
a bit.
did it.
All right, so we'll get into grading. I'll start off. I don't even know what I'm gonna grade it, so I'm gonna think about that real fast. They had a good conference. I think they're straightforward, to the point, but also fun. Atmosphere was a good thing for the conference. Final Fantasy VII obviously is gonna up the score for me quite a bit because that's such a huge game. I think they showed off really good games. I think they had one of the better conferences of E3. Only weaknesses I can really see out of the whole thing is Outriders, but I don't know what the fuck that is actually, so didn't do much for me. In fact, I was more so confused than anything. And Avengers, I'm glad they showed off because some people are really excited for that, but at the same time, it didn't really get me super excited for it. So I'm going to give the Square Enix conference a B plus. I'm gonna give it a strong B plus. I almost want to go A minus, but yeah, two of those games out of most of them were kind of meh, and then they had a lot of remasters and stuff that we knew was coming, but then they had some really big hard hitters too. Life is Strange 2 is not part of my grade in any way because I'm pretending it doesn't exist.
I'll go next.
Yeah, go ahead.
So
I was thinking about Life is Strange too. I was just really annoyed.
So for me, this, I have a soft spot for Square, anyways, just because I mostly played role playing games growing up, and then I expanded into other things as I got older. But my roots definitely come from this company when it comes to like me maturing into gaming and stuff like that.
Plus, you have a straight up fucking IV in your arm for Shadowbringers.
Yes. Final Fantasy VII
Come on, Daddy needs his fucking medicine.
is a must buy. And for me, Crystal Chronicles is going to be a must buy. Dragon Quest Builders is a must buy.
Yep.
I already bought Shadowbringers. I bought the ridiculously expensive, comes with the figurine version of that. We'll actually do an unboxing on the channel for that. And
Actually, to be honest, almost every single game here is a game I want.
yeah. There's huge titles on here. I don't see the bookmark for it, so I might have missed it. But the Mana collection that came out, they talked about too. Yeah. I want to buy that.
In fact, in the stream, it's funny. They announced it's like available now, and I was like, really? And I was like looking for my Switch, but I couldn't find. I was like, fuck it, I'll do it later.
And then Oninaki and Final Fantasy VIII are also games I plan on buying. So just the sheer amount of stuff they have for me to like want to buy. If I had any weaknesses besides certain games I don't like in here, it wasn't really like a conference, like you said. It was more like a direct.
Yeah. And the Chad Bro was the worst part of the whole thing.
With all that in mind, there's just too many big titles in here for me, so I have to give it an A minus. There's no way I can go lower.
It was really hard for me to do B plus, but I feel comfortable with it. So A minus.
A minus. Sorry for being long winded.
Oh, that's fine. Build it up.
Right. So the conference itself, it had like this really high peak right at the very beginning, and it flatlined, and then it kind of slowly built itself back up again. It just kind of plateaued about 80%, 90% up there to what Final Fantasy VII Remake was. However, I too, like Chevy, have a very soft spot for Square. It is what got me into gaming entirely. So I was thinking A minus the whole time too. There could have been something a little bit more. They could have done something a little bit better. They could have cut down the Marvel time, I think, given us more Final Fantasy VII stuff. I think everybody would have been like, A. But I'm excited for the remakes. I'm so excited to get back into those because this is something a lot of people have been asking for. Is want to go back and play those games and having the hassle of digging out through the closet the GameCube and finding the controllers for it. So I'm stoked for it. So yeah, an A minus.
2 A minuses and a B plus. Best game of the conference, most likely Final Fantasy VII. But if you could pick a different one, what would it be? Shadowbringers?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely Shadowbringers. That trailer was just awesome.
Yeah.
Fuck, what would I pick? I mean, I don't even play Final Fantasy 14 that much, and it's pretty much one of them. I think probably for me, either Crystal Chronicle Remaster or Dragon Quest Builders 2 are two games I'm pretty stoked about. But and Final Fantasy VIII Remaster, but probably Dragon Quest Builders 2 just because that's coming out soon. I'm gonna buy that for sure. So, but yeah, Dying Light 2, but also like that's in so many conferences. It's hard for me to go. Like that's the Square Enix conference game that I want the most.
It's also a huge curveball on that list.
Yeah, I keep kind of skipping over because I'm like, you don't belong there. I just keep going down. I'm like, what are you doing here? Move.
Get out of there.
All these like fantasy games, and it's like Dying Light 2. That game's gonna be fucking sick. Yeah. So let us know what was your favorite game of the Square Enix conference. What was a disappointing game? What do you think about the Avengers? What do you think about their faces? And yeah, what would you grade the conference as a whole? Last one we'll be talking about is the Nintendo Direct for E3 that showed off a bunch of games, and we're gonna go through those games. So they showed off Smash Dragon Quest. Is that?
That's adding Dragon Quest characters to Smash.
Oh yeah. So they're adding Dragon Quest characters to Smash. Dragon Quest 11 Definitive Edition, which was shown in the last conference. Again, showing that Switch love. Luigi's Mansion 3. They showed that off. Dark Crystal Age of Resistance Tactics, which is a tie-in to I think the new Netflix
series.
Dark Crystal series.
Yep.
Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening remake, which is fucking crazy.
There's the Mana Collection. It was in that one.
Yeah. I was wondering where it was. Trials of Mana, Mana Collection, which is Final Fantasy Adventure, Secret of Mana, and Trials of Mana, which has never been released here, which is fucking really neat. Makes me want to pick it up just for that alone. Witcher 3 coming to Switch. Fire Emblem 3 Houses, which comes out pretty soon. Really fucking excited for that. Resident Evil games in general are coming out for the Switch. I know they showed like the remaster of the original Resident Evil. So essentially you're getting that Resident Evil love on Switch finally. No More Heroes 3. Contra Anniversary Collection, which is such a hard thing for me to see because I hate Konami, but I love Contra so much. Daemon X Machina was shown again, which is that mech game by some of the devs who worked on Armored Core, and you can tell. Panzer Dragoon is being remade or remastered. I think it's remade, right? Remastered, okay. Pokemon Sword and Shield was shown off. Astral Chain, which is the weird umbilical cord fucking plug-in baby game. Empire of Sin. I don't remember what that was.
Oh, neither now.
Anyway, it was a game. And Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 was shown off, which is looking really fucking cool. Cadence? Shouldn't it be Cadence?
I don't know.
Of Hyrule, which is that
the music game.
I forgot the original game's name. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, Animal Crossing New Horizons, which I know a lot of people were disappointed to not see that at E3. I mean, they showed it there, but no one got to play it. Game Splash Reel, so I'm assuming that's just a bunch of shit.
Yeah, they showed a bunch of
Banjo-Kazooie coming to Smash, and an untitled sequel to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, where they showed a little bit of footage and then some cryptic messaging saying that there is a sequel being worked on. Yeah, so we'll start with Chris this time on Nintendo's conference.
Yes. So,
do you want to start?
No, that's fine. I'm just saying.
I went last time.
I think at the least, like, going into this, like, what I was expecting out of it, and I got the most out of it.
Yeah.
This made me so hyped to buy a Switch. I want to get one so fucking bad right now, but I also want to get, Final Fantasy VII Remake for Soldier Edition, and they're kind of about the same price right now. So it's kind of like, fuck, which do I get?
Oof, that Final Fantasy VII Special Edition though, man.
Right? Switches will be around. That won't.
Yeah.
That's my argument. Yeah. Anyways, there was so much. Like, I'm a big fan of the Luigi's Mansion. I played the first one. Didn't play the second one because it was on 3DS.
This one's got Gooigi in it.
This one does have Gooigi in it, and like the 3DS one, it's multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really hype for me. I'm excited for it. I really like the game. It's got a fun quirkiness to it. I'm a big Dark Crystal fan, so I'm not going to get too hyped about it because I want to see more, because it could just be like kind of a gimmick tie-in, like, hey, here's something to go with it.
That's why I was like, we'll see.
But I'm a big Jim Henson fan, so I'll look deeper into that later. But the reimagined of Link's Awakening was amazing. It's like completely redone because, it was a Game Boy game.
Yeah, it's a remake, not a remaster.
Yeah, remake. Yeah. So it's great, and the art style of it is really cutesy fun. To kind of tie back into that old Legend of Zelda-esque gameplay. Not like Ocarina of Time where it's more serious. It's just kind of little pudgy, cute characters killing each other.
Oh my!
It's cutesy.
That sounds pretty serious.
And then the Mana games. This is what got me pumped the most for, as I was so fucking excited to see that they're bringing Legend of Mana or Secret of Mana or whatever 3 finally to America, because we've never gotten it before, and we've got 3 of the other games, and I've just been waiting for this, and I don't want to play a ROM hack of it. I just want to play it legit. So we're getting it, and it looks so much better than what like the Secret of Mana remake was. Like, I have the Secret of Mana remake, and it's fun, it's great, but like it looks so much better. There's so much love and care put into this one. I'm just so fucking excited for it. And then I think the other one that I was really excited for is the Marvel Ultimate Alliance. I'm a really big fan of those games.
It's so weird we're getting Ultimate Alliance 3 and also like Marvel Avengers. Like, obviously they're not the same thing, but it's just like weird to be getting 2 games on the same time. It's like, here.
Which kind of tells me they're going to have different gameplay mechanics.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So I'm excited for that. I'm super stoked for it.
Anything else?
I was just so hyped up. I was freaking out the whole fucking time.
Well, if there's one thing they want to do by having a conference, it's sell more Switches. So at least they did that. So, Chevy.
I also was very pleasantly surprised with this, though. We say it all the time anymore. The Switch has just been killing it, and awesome, they still have a strong lineup coming out. So, in a time where everyone's kind of like cooling down to get ready for new hardware, Nintendo's just like full support mode, which is great to see. For me, the big ones are, I'm not the biggest Zelda fan, but Link's Awakening is one of the ones I really do enjoy, and I'm glad to see it getting a full remake. I will be picking this up. It looks very cool. I want to pick up the Mana Collection. It was one of the series that Square made that I dabbled in but never really like invested time into, so it gives me a good opportunity to visit those and actually play them. Fire Emblem Three Houses is 100% must buy. Love Fire Emblem, and it is beautiful looking. Panzer Dragoon, I'm curious in. I honestly did not expect to see that at all. Sega did 2 surprises this year. Really strange. They just kind of like, hey, here's things that people like, and we're actually going to give to the West. So thank you. Pokemon, huge for me, but I'm also kind of mixed because they're not allowing you to bring all your Pokemon into it. So I don't know. I'm going to keep my eye on it. I'll probably end up buying it anyways, but I'm a little disappointed in that. Astral Chain Platinum Games is a new game. I think it looks a lot of fun. And then Marvel Ultimate Alliance also looks great. And I was excited to get a confirmation on Animal Crossing, because Animal Crossing is dope. Not for everyone, but for me, I love it.
Yeah. I think this is one of the best conferences easily of all E3, if not equal to, or at least second to Microsoft in what they did. And Square Enix. Those 3 really brought it this year.
Oh, yeah.
But I really think Nintendo and Microsoft had the strongest showings. And that's really cool for me to be able to say. Because, I've slowly been going like, Nintendo's killing it, Switch is killing it, they're supporting that fucking thing, they're making great games for it and shit. And now at E3, they had this great conference. At E3, they had amazing booths. Nintendo's back, and they're really showing it. And this conference was awesome. Like, almost every single game here is a game that I'm going to buy or want to buy or would tell people to buy. And the way Nintendo does their direct videos is always great and fun, and they really kind of promote just like fun and community, and like that, like the people running Nintendo are your buddies and shit. And like they had Bowser on there, the new guy, and he seems cool. He's got some big shoes to fucking fill with Reggie leaving. So
for sure.
Of course, people are going to judge him accordingly, but he seems cool. I like the whole joke with Bowser being in the video and shit. They're like trying to get him to leave, and he's just like looking at him like, go. And he's just like, oh. It was funny. But yeah, the games are awesome. I'm not really playing Smash a whole lot. I need to pick it up at some point, but that they keep introducing more characters to a game that already has a shitload of characters is really insane. Dragon Quest Definitive Edition, of course, I'm going to fucking whore that out, fucking pick that shit up. Luigi's Mansion 3, I played it, and it's really fun. Definitely think about picking that up. The multiplayer seems cool. The game's got so much like charisma to it, in a weird way. Like, it's just a really fun, quirky game. Dark Crystal Age of Resistance Tactics, like I'm gonna wait and see on that. But at the same time, I was watching the gameplay and it was interesting looking, so I did not expect that. Zelda looks awesome. I know that's a really beloved Zelda game, and so that it's getting a full remake is really cool. Especially
like
coming
Game
from
Boy
a
game.
Game Boy game, 100%. Yeah. Mana, like you guys, huge fan of the series. I've never played Trials, of course. When they announced that, I was like, what? So I'm really stoked on that. Witcher 3, I don't know if I'll be picking that up for Switch, but I would absolutely recommend anybody who has a Switch who has not played Witcher 3 or loves Witcher 3 to pick that up because it's really cool that we're getting that. Fire Emblem is a must for me. I fucking need that game when it comes out. I love Fire Emblem. And, that we're getting a Switch Fire Emblem is amazing. I'm glad to see Resident Evil's getting some love on Switch. Contra, fucking Konami being a bunch of fucking dickheads, dude. Oh my god. I saw that. I was like, oh, you guys ruined everything. And now you're going to go, but remember all the good games we used to make? And I'm like, yes. Like, you want to buy them? I'm like, yeah, but fuck you.
It doesn't even look like Contra.
The collection?
I thought there was a new game in there too.
There is, and it looks like Shattered Soldier, and I want that too. I love Shattered Soldier. But the graphics are awful. They're fucking awful. And no excuse awful. They're not like, well, it's like the old games. No, it's really bad. It looks like shit. But the collection, I mean, it has fucking hardcore on it. That's one of my favorite ones for Sega Genesis. Damn Ex Machina, I'm glad to see more of that. I played the demo of it. It was okay. I would like to see more on it, though. Pokemon Sword and Shield looks awesome. It plays awesome. Can't wait to pick that up. I'm not sure what the fuck Empire of Sin is. We're going to find that out real fucking fast, real quick. But I just need a little taste of what the fuck that is. It looks like it's a cinematic. Okay, well, that didn't do much for me. Anyway, I guess wasn't very memorable. The Cadence of Hyrule looked really neat. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 looks like a must-own to me, especially on Switch. It's kind of that multiplayer, so that's gonna be fucking awesome. Can't wait to play that. Animal Crossing is like candy corn. It's like a bunch of weird shit. Every once in a while, I'm like, I'm not really into that. And then I try it again to see why I don't like it. I'm like, yeah, that's why I don't like it. I play Animal Crossing, and I'm like, I love everything about it. I love the style of the little shifty-eyed raccoon dude. I love the characters and how stupid they look. And the world. And I like the idea of like, well, I'm going to go do a job and then buy a chair for my house. And then I played. I'm like, what the fuck is this? What are you doing it? And Sherry's like, I like it a lot. I'm like, okay, well, that's good. So we'll see what happens with this. But that there is a new one thing about the Switch and Nintendo is they're like fucking hitting from every angle, man. Every game, every series that you love from Nintendo, they're making a game for you with that series, and it's awesome. So it's awesome to see Animal Crossing is coming, and it looks pretty done. So that shit's gonna come out at a pretty good rate. And then of course, I never beat Breath of the Wild. I played it a little bit, and it was pretty cool. But that they're already working on a sequel to it, I think is fitting, and that this won't be fully made for the Switch and not like a in between console Zelda, I think will be awesome. But who knows? Maybe we'll get the upgraded Switch coming out around the same time this comes out. It'll be another in between Zelda because they love to do that shit.
It's also financially a smart decision to use the engine more than once. So
yeah, 100%. Yeah. But overall, I think Nintendo had one of the strongest, if not the strongest, conference of E3. It was really good. It was really fun to watch. In my stream, was like, oh, I'm going to skip through this. And I watched pretty much the whole thing. So, because just the flow was perfect. Mm-hmm. I was watching. I was like, okay, cool. And I was like, I'll select the other mouse. I'm just going to watch this. So, it's really good. Awesome. They knocked it out of the park. Yeah. So, we all give our impressions?
Yep.
Right? Mm-hmm. I just kind of went, I like Nintendo now. This is great. I'm going to get in here real quick and grade it. I'm going to give it a almost, but not. I'm giving it a fucking A-. Strong A-. It was fucking awesome. Really, really good. The only reason I'm not giving it an A is because I don't know. If they didn't have as many games as Xbox, I guess. Maybe that's the only reason I won't give it an A. Just because I'm really impressed with how much fucking shit Xbox did, or how many games Xbox did in like an hour and a half. It's crazy. But the stuff they showed off was awesome, and the presentation was awesome. So A-. Chevy.
I want to give it an A, but I can't because there's the technical aspect of it not actually being a conference.
That's probably it then. Yeah, I think the spectacle of Xbox did it for me.
Yeah, they literally had a conference. As for Nintendo, just had a show, and they do them all the time. Did they kill it? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
You look at this list, and even the games I'm not into, I'm excited that people are getting those games. So
Astral Chain.
I say
Off the chain.
I'm excited for that. And you know what's funny?
Belly button chain.
I've seen some polls on different websites about like the excitement levels on the games on that list, and Astral Chain's one of the top ones for people. So
I don't believe them. I think they're lying.
But overall, huge list. Pretty much a bunch of knockout hits. Yeah, A-, 100%.
I'm not gonna get technical on it. I'm gonna give it a solid A. I think this is the most hype, other than like Final Fantasy VII. That was like a peaked and then kind of tapered off. This, I was just fucking hype the whole way through. It's a solid A for me.
They got you wanted to buy a Switch.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even like contest that. I mean, like I really wanted to give it an A, but I think you brought up a great point, and the same perspective as me is like the only thing that really gave Xbox that edge was that presentation was just like fucking awesome. It's really impressive. But again, you know, I want to give it that A just because it was a really good presentation. They showed off a shitload of games that are awesome, getting you hyped to be a Nintendo fan, to own a Switch, giving you reason to own that fucking thing and not go, why do I even have this? You're like, I got so many games to play on this fucking thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel it on the A. Anything else you guys want to say?
I want Legends of Mana. I want Secret of Mana. I want all the mana.
I want all the mana.
Give me the mana.
I agree. I would love Legend of Mana because I love that game. I have very, very fond memories of that game. Let's know in the comments. What did you think about Nintendo's conference? What was your favorite part about it? What was your least favorite part about it? Is there a least favorite part about that conference? It was fucking fantastic. Do you own a Switch? Do you want to own a Switch? And what would you grade that conference? Now, we're going to end this with what was your favorite game of the conference? What was your favorite conference? Or favorite game of E3? What was your favorite conference? I'm assuming it's probably going to be your highest grade, right? We'll just cut the middleman out.
Yeah.
So, no.
Okay. So what was your favorite conference?
My favorite conference was Squares.
Okay.
Just because the for sure purchases I'm making out of that and being able to see it all, Microsoft had a better show.
Yeah.
And they deserve the higher grade.
See, that's funny because I don't know. Nintendo and Xbox are like even for me and how much I loved both of them. I just gave Microsoft a better rating because pretty much how you said.
That's the E3 experience right there.
It's the pinnacle conference, 100%.
Yeah.
Pinnacle. Best conference out of all of them. But Nintendo had so many hard hitters that I'm like... How amazing would it have been if Sony was there and had an amazing conference too? Having like the three big dogs have amazing conferences because we just had fucking Nintendo and Xbox have amazing conferences.
Even Phil Spencer said he was sad Sony wasn't there.
Yeah,
So.
it just sucks, man. Because like this reminds you of like what E3 is again. Like even though Nintendo wasn't doing the conference itself, they were present. They were actually there at E3.
Huge presence. Yeah.
With the booths and shit. Spent a shitload of money. And had a lot of stuff to talk about, and it was just like really, really exciting for games. Next year, it's gonna be the consoles. It's gonna be fucking huge.
Great.
But this year it's just all about games. Shitload of games coming out, and Xbox and Nintendo really brought it. But yeah, for me, it's hard to pick between the two because for what they offer and my hype level on both of them, they both got me. Although Tales of Arise, I keep bringing that up. It's really weird, and that game might suck when it comes out. I don't know. But from what I've seen, the short little amount and not knowing it was coming out, my hype level in the game's fucking huge.
They showed him the right stuff.
Really, yeah. Everything I saw on that, I was like, that looks cool as shit. So, really stoked on that. There's a lot of games I'm stoked on, but that was actually like a game I had no idea about. But yeah, I don't think I can pick between the two. I think Microsoft and Nintendo just fucking owned E3.
It's Nintendo for me.
Yeah.
That was the best conference. The hype was just like I said, continuous for me.
Yeah.
It was so good. Even if they weren't like a conference, it was still the hypest one for me.
Yeah.
It was weird.
No, I mean that's awesome. I'm so glad to hear that, and I feel the same way. So, Fire Emblem Three Houses, I can't fucking wait for the game.
I need to play one of those games.
Oh, they're so good. You like Final Fantasy Tactics? Why the fuck aren't you playing?
Dude, I say that all.
Why aren't you playing? Why aren't you playing Fire Emblem? Why aren't you playing Wargroove? Yeah. Anyway, why aren't you playing Front Mission? Anyway, okay. So favorite conferences, we all have different ones. Even though I'm kind of in there with you with the Nintendo one, it's just hard for me to pick between the two because Microsoft just had so many fucking good games. Favorite game of E3?
I think some of our viewers might not be happy with me, but I have to say Final Fantasy VII. Cyberpunk I expected.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think what they showed last year was a better show of it. I know what we're going to see.
That's the weird thing, man, because what they did show, like you guys, was awesome.
Yeah.
But it wasn't as good as last year's 48 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But what I saw
that
was
we get to see
fucking amazing
when PAX West happens.
I know. I know. It's just weird because like my perspective on the Cyberpunk thing, I'm just like, you guys didn't see it though. Like,
and we didn't. We got a teaser and then we got Keanu, which is great.
Which is awesome.
We got 20 straight minutes of gameplay of Final Fantasy VII. And that is huge for me. So that was the big one.
I should have left my fucking Osmo Pocket on while I was in that room. Then uploading, got my channel fucking destroyed. By CD Projekt Red. We told you! Like, I know! So Final Fantasy VII.
Yes.
Which I think is fair. Like I said, within E3 and just everywhere, it was all about Cyberpunk and all about Final Fantasy VII. Mm-hmm. Those are the two fucking kings of E3. Obviously, one had the more hype, but 7 is indisputable on how fucking huge it is and just how much people fucking are ready to play that game. And it looks awesome. So
yeah.
Makes sense why that would be your favorite. Chris.
Halo Infinite.
Liar.
That wasn't even remotely believable.
I'm the same as Chevy. Final Fantasy VII, the remake. Someone I've been dying for years.
Yeah. See, and I hate saying this because I'm with you guys 100%. I'm right there with you. But fucking Cyberpunk, man. Cyberpunk's the game of fucking E3. The hype's real. What they showed to you guys was awesome. What I saw was even better. And fucking is gonna be such an event when that game comes out. It's gonna
for
be
sure.
Fucking crazy. And it's just so weird. The way they did that this year, what they didn't show and what they did show. So I mean, I didn't get to see the 50 minutes. I wonder what the fuck happens in that. But yeah, and having played Final Fantasy VII and seeing Final Fantasy VII for 20 minutes, they showed way more than Cyberpunk. You know, I think Square Enix did a great job on finally just letting you soak in Final Fantasy VII. And it's so hard for me to say it, but Cyberpunk easily is the game of E3, but such a close second is Final Fantasy VII. I've actually played that one, and that one fucking plays great. So I haven't played fucking Cyberpunk. So let me play it next time, assholes. Hand me the controller.
It'll be out by then.
Don't let the guy crouch in the front with the fucking controller play. I want to play it. So 2 Final Fantasies and a Cyberpunk, which is not a surprise in any way to me. If there's any other games that you could think of that would be like a second runner-up to that. I mean, obviously I've mentioned it like 8 times now, but Tales of Arise is on my list. Sadly, Phantasy Star Online 2, a game that has burned me so many times, and I'm so angry at it. It's like an ex that you just can't get over. Fucking, I want it. I want it, and I hate it. So.
Well, that's not even a matter. Like, that's just I'm gonna play it. That's just how it's gonna be.
Yeah, that game should have came out like 5 years ago. And they're like, "Hey, it's coming out." I'm like, "Oh, fuck you, dude." Okay, just give it to me.
Yeah, I mean, Final Fantasy VII, Cyberpunk, obviously, and then I'd be really silly of me not to say Shadowbringers, the 14 expansion. I mean, I'm really just chomping at the bit to play that game so bad right now. And then to kind of get away from that stuff, The one thing I was kind of like iffy about was Borderlands 3. Like they showed it off a little
It's
bit.
good.
And one, my whole point was like they showed it off a little bit a couple times now, and it looks really cool. But like, I haven't played it, and they really didn't like. They haven't really shown a crap ton of like necessarily gameplay. It's a lot of like trailers.
Yeah.
It has gameplay in it, but just nothing like demoing the game. Well, you played it and you kind of talked to me about it. And I'm excited to play that, but
I don't. Every gameplay video I've seen of it so far, I don't think translates how it feels, because you watch it, it looks like a newer Borderlands, which is great, and you're like, oh, cool, I'm glad they added all those features. But when I was playing it, it felt so fucking. It felt the best Borderlands has ever felt. It felt really tight. All the fucking functions worked great. Being able to like vault over things and jump onto like ledges, all these little things that you'd expect from a lot of modern shooters are all there, and it just made it feel like a tighter shooter. It felt less about, oh, I'm gonna get some good loot, so that's why I'm playing, and also like I'm really enjoying shooting things. So yeah, the videos don't translate it well enough.
Yeah.
You just go, oh yeah, it's Borderlands.
well, and that's pretty much where my head's been. And then after hearing you talk about it and saying how solid it was, I mean, this one of those games is kind of must buy for me, anyways. I am a little bummed out because I do really want to play it on PC. I just hate my lack of choice in purchasing it. So
I already preemptively bought all the older games for PS4. I've made my decision.
yeah, well, we'll play a little bit of obviously the Plus game here, and I'll see if I like the way it plays on there or not. So
Also, shout out to Xbox having the balls to talk about Project Scarlet. That was cool.
yep. Also, actually, real quick, one
And
thing
Elden Ring.
I did really like, and I had I didn't think I was gonna like it at all when they showed off that new controller. It was really cool for me just because they really kind of showed off every aspect of the controller. And the one thing that me and you, I know, hate about it, which is the looseness of joysticks. Like the first thing they showed was you can put,
Which I've never seen on a
you
controller.
can adjust the tightness of the joystick. And I was like,
Yeah. That's a
Whoa.
game changer, dude. Paddles on controllers was a game changer for me, and now I saw that, I'm like, fuck, dude.
It's
If you
very
can
cool.
adjust that, man, I've never had that in a controller, and that's something that's the one make or break for a controller. I don't care how comfortable the fucking thing is. If the sticks are too loose, I can't use it.
yeah. So very cool. I loved seeing them. In fact, there's one thing I wish Sony would do is I wish they would have the same kind of like hardware game that Microsoft has.
It's funny, the Astro C40 or whatever is officially licensed as PS4 Pro controller.
Well, Sony is really big on like licensing to people.
Yeah.
So
It's just interesting that they are like, yeah, it's the PS4 controller.
yeah.
Or Pro controller. Also, the price point of the new Elite controller is like $108. When I heard that, I'm like, fuck, that's
Jesus.
expensive. But then I was like, I spent more on my fucking Astro controller, so it's actually not that bad for a Pro controller, especially with the functionality you're getting.
The amount of customization
Yeah.
you can do to the controller. You can
More
literally
than most.
adjust your gameplay to your comfort 100%.
Yeah.
So
And your abilities on PC, I mean, like,
yeah.
it's awesome.
Yeah. And it'll have longevity because of the just the PC aspect as well. So especially,
Well, and if my theory about xCloud's correct, I don't think you're going to necessarily need the next Xbox.
yeah, well, probably.
You're probably going to play xCloud on your fucking Xbox One. Recently, they were just talking about how they're looking at Xbox as more of a software company now.
Yeah, I kind of got that vibe off them already.
I've
anyways.
been talking about that for a little bit too. Like I felt like that's the direction they're going, but they're pretty much confirming it. The Xbox will be a software
So
company, pretty much.
weird.
Yeah. The consoles will just be there for
So you have
giving
a
you
box.
options.
Yeah.
Options to different ways to play. Because I was wondering about that control. I'm like, they're releasing that really late in the cycle. Doesn't matter. You'll be able to use it on anything. You'll be able to play xCloud on anything. That controllers work with anything. On
Any
PlayStation 5. Anyway.
any other standouts for you, Chris?
Trials of Mana.
Somber about that.
I want the mana.
Yeah. I want the mana too. Yeah, there's so many good games. So many good
There's
games.
so much.
Let's end it this way. Before I do that, though, let me know in the comments what was your favorite game of E3. Of course, it's going to be one of two big games, but if you want to throw out some other games, shout out to Watch Dogs Legion. I'm hoping that game will be awesome. I want that game to have an identity. But we're going to end it this way. What would you grade all of E3 of 2019? And we will start... Not with Chris, because she'll fucking wish. Chris again. I want to go. I want to go first.
God damn it.
We'll go with Chevy.
B-.
Ooh.
I'd love to go higher, but EA really is like a fucking anchor there.
I guess, yeah.
Bethesda was... Ubisoft was okay, and the other three were really great. So I'm going to give it a B-. There's just too many like heavy hitters towards the end of E3 that really do kind of literally hold E3 on their shoulders. So
All right, I'll let you go next.
That's kind of along the lines. I was just gonna say a B, just because there are so many like early on ones we talked about today. We're just sort of like either like miss or just so like coasted on through, and then the last ones really carried everything else.
Yeah.
So B.
So you did B-. You did B. Fuck. To be 100% honest, I really, really, really want to give all of E3 2019, and it might be because my perspective on it as well, but like, I really want to give the whole thing a fucking A-. Really bad. But specifically because Microsoft and Nintendo and Final Fantasy VII and Cyberpunk. Those four things alone, I'm like, that's at the least an A-. But
less than half the show.
But then I have to take into account Ubisoft had a fine conference.
Yeah.
Bethesda's was better. EA's was fucking trash. I'm upset I didn't give it the F Chevy did. He had the balls to go where I couldn't. I thought that was a little too harsh, but I'll stay with my D-. So I'll give it a B+. I really, really want to give it an A-, but there is some weakness here. But the people who fucking hit fucking hard. And I really loved seeing, two of the big legendary companies just come in with a shitload of cool stuff to show, just celebrating gaming and showing off just a bunch of really cool shit. And again, Square Enix really brought it, which is great to see. That was one of those companies like Nintendo that kind of went like, and then now they're like, oh yeah, we're back. Sorry about that.
Such compared to last year where they just did like all day live streams, and they just talked about everything they already had.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad they did like a show.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I was hoping they would do an awesome job. And then Ubisoft was fine. Bethesda, a little better. EA really sucked. Really bad. Really fucking awful. Horrible.
And
They should be
Devolver's fun, but
Devolver, I keep skipping over Devolver because I always more so look at that as like
A spectacle.
just like a little extra to E3.
it's a treat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like you're in E3 and then when you come out, there's a person out there juggling. You're like, oh, that's cool. It's not quite part of it, but you're just like, oh, I like that.
Except for their juggling like esophagus
Children.
and shit.
They're juggling children. They're juggling Oompa Loompas. Come one, come all. Watch me not drop the Oompa Loompa.
Splat. Oops.
Whoopsie, we got extras. All right, so B-, and B+. Let us know in the comments what would you grade all of E3 and why. But that's going to do it for this episode of Taste the Cast. Episode 95. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to check out our other episodes. Check us out on Tumblr, Twitter, and Facebook at Taste Loop Gaming. Check out my stream and Chris's streams on Twitch, and only Twitch for 90 days. YouTube has decided that Ubisoft owns something that we can't show. So we're down for 9 days on YouTube, but you can check us out on Twitch at Tasty Senpai, all one word, Tasty_fruit. That's Chris. Hit the notification button to know when we go live, or join the Discord link down below, and you can find out when I'm going to stream every time, because it has a little thing that pops up in there when I go streaming, when I stream. We have iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast platforms. If you'd prefer to listen to us, you like the audio more than the video, you can do that. And, is there anything I'm missing?
Our names.
My name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
And I'm Chris.
And this is the end of the E3 stuff. Hopefully you guys had a blast with it. And until the next episode, which
who knows what that's going to be.
Will be Tasty Cast again, I think. I'm a little confused myself. Until then, have a good week, guys, and take it easy.